there wasn't pain, it wouldn't be worth it. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to day 42. The Journey to Greatness with David McDonald. And I am here. We are alive. We are happy. We are blessed. All is well. All is well on this fine Saturday morning. Excuse me. Alrighty then. It's time to get started. Oh, how wonderful. Excuse me. All right. Welcome back. Good morning, everyone. Wow. It's always nice to see everybody when we come back. I see you guys. What's up, bro? What's up, Ali? Kumbaya. What's up, man? Morning. Um, we're all bosses. I was thinking about that as I was meditating. I was like, man, we are amazing people. Like absolutely amazing people. Like we get up on Saturdays at 5 a.m. in the morning. That's so. I mean, I guess it depends on the things that you're paying attention to, but and the people you're hanging around with. So maybe I don't know. Maybe this is something new to me, but we're getting up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday and Sundays. That's beautiful. And it takes tremendous courage and dedication. And that is something we should not overlook or discredit ourselves for, because it's a beautiful thing. And then to be building every single day, sharpening ourselves, iron like iron. It's beautiful. Oh, so good for you to join us. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into our reading session now. Good morning. Holy smokes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Jesus. Jesus. Hmm. Oh my goodness. I was just talking about this. Hmm. Okay, so the co-author or the co-author of this book, the co-author, hey Matt. So the co-author of this book increased his firm's financial management from 500 million in 2008 to more than 1.8 billion dollars in 2010, and now today oversees 22 billion dollars in other people's money. Where do I begin? Is the question. First off, the Center for Applied Research reports that 40% of millennials don't invest in, or at least say they won't invest in the stock market. That means for the other 60% of us, well, I'm sure there's probably a percentage of people who just don't know or don't care. And then there's, another percentage of us that do care and don't know how, but lack execution. And then there's another percentage of us who know, care, execute, make money. So that's crazy, which pushes me to the thought of maybe for some reason I envision myself at the office every Saturday and starting. So almost like how we're reading this book, right? Every Saturday, go to the office, spend an hour, start researching stocks, start researching escrow accounts or accounts to put our money into, like Fidelity, things of that nature, and start slowly segueing into investing. It keeps coming up, you guys. Like, it keeps coming up around me. And I really think that there's a message or there's something that it keeps coming up. So I don't know. When something keeps showing up for me, I have to execute on it. So I'm going to take that next step. So if anybody's interested in meeting on the weekends to start an investment account, and hey, if you guys already have an investment account and you guys are trading, feel free to join, and bless us with whatever knowledge that you have. Sharing wealth is true wealth itself, right? So but check this out. I talked about this a couple days ago. As we'll discuss in detail in this chapter, there are two primary ways to prepare for market turmoil. First, you need the right asset allocation, a fancy term for the proportion of your portfolio that's invested in different types of assets, including stocks, bond, real estate, and alternative investments. Second, you need to be positioned conservatively enough with some income set aside for a very rainy day, so that you won't be forced to sell while stocks are down. It's financially equivalent of making sure you're equipped with safety harnesses, life vests, and sufficient food before heading out to sea. As I see it, 90% of surviving a bear market comes down to preparation. In the last 110 years, according to Tony Robbins and his study, every 3 years we experience a bear market, okay? The point that we made the other day on camera was that if we are going to be buying real estate, okay? Let's say we buy one house, we buy another house. We can continue to buy houses, right? Depending on how we do it. But my point is as you buy houses, and I know this because it's obviously so dear to my heart. I'm a real estate broker, specialist, consultant. But as you buy houses, the one way to prepare or save ourselves or protect ourselves is by saving money. So if you have a mortgage, again, and we talked about this, that's $2,500. You take $2,500, you times that by 12, make sure you have that in the bank. Now, if you have a home equity line of credit, or your house has equity in it, then what you do is you pull out a home equity line of credit, right? And I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm freestyling right now. You pull out that home equity line of credit, and you can do up to $250,000, depending on which bank. There might be other programs now, but from when I last checked, it was $250,000. So, and then we can get to our journal. I can't wait for my journaling. And by the way, up until like 3 or 4 days ago, I didn't really like journaling, but I did it just because I have to. I'm pushing myself to, but I love it now, so it's cool. So let's say your mortgage is $2,500. You have to have at least $30,000 in the bank, okay? For a bad crash economy, that's a minimum. That's kind of like my mental standard. If you don't have more than one mortgage, right? It's okay to. I think if you keep your faith and you're optimistic and you know everything will be well and that you're always living in abundance, you'll be fine regardless, right? That's a whole nother mental piece. But in terms of like just the financial preparedness of it, having 30 grand, and it's a lot easier. You must say, 30 grand, right? But when you own a house and you've been paying on a house, right? You have this equity in your home, or when you do a down payment, depending on what it is, that it gives you equity. And then there's calculations or what have you. So for that house, you pull out the home equity line of credit, but you leave it there. You don't use it, right? And then if something was to ever go wrong, you have 30 grand or up to 250,000, depending on what your equity position is. That's always available to you. So if you lose your job, if you have like a medical emergency or whatever it is, you have up to $250,000 in your pocket. Now, why would you do that, right? Well, the time it would take you to make that kind of money in a short amount of time, who knows how long that would be? It could be long, it could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It could be 1 year. It could be 1 month for some people, right? But when you pull that $100,000 out, that that $30,000 out, you're only charged at an interest rate. And then when you charge at the interest rate, more than likely you only have to pay interest. Just depends on what the bank offers. So your payment would be like, let's say $500, but you're using like $25,000. You see what I'm saying? So if you have a mortgage for $2,500 and you need 30 grand every month, right? You take out $2,500, you only get charged on that portion you only get charged interest on that portion that you took out. Okay. So let's say that's $80 or $100 a month, but you just survived that month, right? You paid your mortgage. So you kept your house in this downturn economy, right? So the only thing you have to do is make sure you're still producing money, but it like in a time of distress or uncertainty, right? We become shakeable where we're like, oh my God, what do we do? But if he's saying in this chapter specifically, especially here, prepare for any disasters and get your finances right. If you're on your way up, again, that's just belief and having faith that you'll always be well. You'll always live abundantly. In downturn economies, people still make money, and a lot of people don't make money. But regardless, you get to choose which one you want to be. It's there. It's not like the whole economy stops and money just stops getting traded. So that's a truth. That was a huge truth, because we talked about that, like I said, maybe a couple weeks ago. So. This man, he managed. That's crazy. That's crazy. Right. Okay, so it's gonna be a good day today. Um, it's gonna be a really good day today. You know what I realized the other day? I didn't realize it, but I caught it. It kind of crept up on me a little bit, and so I caught it and I pointed it out for what it was. This is what I realized. Get a little bit closer. And a little bit closer. No, but what I realized was the food, the music, the people, the movies, all of the things that are around us influence us. Okay. Duh, right? Duh. Pause. Then why the heck do we still listen to rap music, or rock and roll or country music, Okay. I'm trying to express the feeling that I experienced the other day and match it to words. So here we go. And this is a subconscious trigger though. So let's say, for example, you ever watch a motivational movie or a tape or like a YouTube video or something like that, and you feel inspired, you feel geared up, you're excited, you're like, oh yeah, let's go, right? Woo, I can take over the world. When I quit one of my jobs, I think I told you guys, I was listening to Eric Thomas, and I was on my way to work, and I was walking, and I'm excited, and I was just pumped up out of my mind. I went in there and I told him, I don't want to work here anymore. Right. So my point is do you remember that feeling that you had after you watched that video, right? You felt inspired, you were excited, you were happy, you were pumped up, you're ready to go. Imagine listening to that for 3-4 hours a day and conditioning yourself in that, right? Now, let's use an example as simple as our car. We drive around our car, some of us for a long, like for me, it's hours, a week. And for a lot of us, it's hours a week, at least 5, when we go to work and we're in traffic. And think about the music you're listening to, the rap, R&B, again, country, anything with a message that influences you or that gives you perspective or insight on something, whether it's the lifestyle, whether it's a life or what have you. Subconsciously, you're being affected by that just as much as you would if you're watching that emotional, inspirational video, because it makes you feel good to listen to it. If you don't like music, you don't listen to it, right? You listen to music that you like to listen to. But those messages that you're inheriting and that you are pretty much like, imagine your body as a canvas, you're writing these messages on your body, and then your body is absorbing them as spirit. And then that's becoming a part of your identity. And I realized, I was just like, man, like it really impacts and influences you in so many different ways. The food that we eat impacts us and influences us. I mean, we talked about intermittent fasting, where we don't eat for like a portion of the day because the energy within our stomach. This is a concept introduced to me by my brother, Daoud, God bless you. And he said that, so that, as you then, and actually, Ali, we talked about this too. Intermittent fasting allows you to think with more clarity because your body is not focusing on transmitting this food that's in your stomach. And also all that energy essentially is working in other areas of your body, whether it's recovery, but more so importantly, the clarity of your mind. So your brain, so all the blood is up here, right? Is the concept, rather than down here, keeping your stomach warm, trying to digest and move everything around. But yeah, I had that realization, and I was just like, man, because I listen to all different types of music, but I remember Bo Velasquez, I think it is. He told me when I first got into real estate, he was like, "Oh, what kind of music do you listen to?" Right? And I was like, "Oh, I love reggaeton," right? And I think he's from Venezuela. And I was like, I love reggaeton. I listen to reggaeton every time when I'm driving up. I'll be, cruising, bumping my music, and I love it. And he was like, So how many millions did reggaeton make you last year? Right, with a dead face. I was like, yeah. Right. So I stopped listening to it, and then I started brainwashing myself with real estate material, right? And when I started doing that, my IQ, my knowledge base in the industry went tremendously up. Obviously, my attitude about it, my mindset was sharpened over and over. I stayed in it, and now we're here today. So I guess my biggest thing is just pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention, and if you don't believe it, or if you are like, oh, well, I don't know really how to do it or what to do to get started, well then just try go and listening to inspirational tapes all day. If you're at work, have that playing in the background rather than, well, jazz music is cool, but have that playing instead, or in the car, or listen, like learning another language. Huge. Like if you listen 5 hours a week, that's 20 hours a month, times 12 months, like that's 12, 24, 48. You're easily over 50 hours of learning another language every single year. Like, so anyway, maximize every moment, all your time. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me today. It's a huge inspiration to me. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 a.m. See ya.